Okay, so I'm going to blame social media. I'm going to blame social media for what we have been seeing during the last few years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Because if you use social media now, I mean, there are exceptions. Um, I guess smaller platforms maybe, but if you use social media and search engines like Google, most people use Google. What you get is confirmation. And it's gotten to the point now where these platforms and Google is so smart, so advanced that they know what you're feeling. They are trying to cater to your feelings. So that's why we're getting, when people say they do research, what they have been doing is going on social media and Google, mostly social media, and they've gotten their feelings confirmed by facts, sorry, by information, not facts, that fits their or strengthens their feelings. That's the introduction here to my live stream. We're going to do a live stream where only members can comment. That's my apologies to all the wonderful subscribers to this channel. It's a necessity right now because I've had an influx of trolls and haters, and they're going to mess up the chat. That's just how it needs to be now. Hopefully, in a week or so, I can do live streams where all subscribers can comment. So again, I am sorry. um, it's like I like to challenge myself. Hi there, Wes and Carola. I like to challenge my thoughts and myself, and I like to question myself. I do that maybe a little bit too much for my own good, but at least I'm not in a bubble, you know. And I would hate to be that. And I've been in situations in my life where I've felt that, oh, everyone here agrees. Everyone's in agreement. Everyone's feeling the same about something here, about everything, really. And whenever I've found myself in such company, I have left because it shouldn't be like that. It's kind of dangerous. If you find yourself in there's a saying, actually, someone, I can't remember which, there's a quote, but it goes, yeah, a quote, someone famous said something a long time ago, that if you find yourself in the majority and everyone agrees, probably something's wrong. You're probably not being critical enough. You might be very wrong. Things might be very wrong. Um, I mean, if you went to Germany in the 1930s and you went along with the official narrative, I don't even have to finish that sentence. And I saw a debate a couple of days ago on Norwegian TV where a small political party had they're saying we do not want to Norway shouldn't send all those billions to Ukraine for weapons in Ukraine. And I mean that's an opinion that you can have, and you should be allowed to have that opinion, and we should discuss that. And this is just an example, not really. This is not going to be a live stream about Ukraine, but my point here is that in the debate, the people opposing that, which was people from the government and that kind of people, and they didn't really manage to refute. Is that the word? the claims from the other side there, they were just calling them names and saying, "Oh, you're working for Putin and you're this and that." You know, if I mean that's not how it should be, and I think we've gotten to this point now, and it's on all levels. I mean, all levels in society, especially in politics, high level politics. People are in a bubble, and these people who are not directly stupid, I guess, you might even know that they are in a bubble, but they want to keep the bubble from bursting. You know what I'm saying here? I see it a lot in um, like I see so many examples of how people think they're so fucking smart. Excuse my language. They think they're so fucking smart, and I'll give one example because it's ludicrous. In my video on the main channel on Saturday, I had like 10 misconceptions about Vikings. So one of them is that um, Viking is not a verb. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Viking is not a verb. You can't say to Viking. It's no. So Viking is not a verb. But also another fact, Viking was something that you did. It was not a people. It was something that you did. And then I've seen a few comments where these people who think they're so smart, they write in the comments, "Oh, you said Viking is not a verb, but then you're saying Viking is something that you did. Oh, got you. It's a verb." So it's like, what? And I shouldn't have done this, but I replied because I want to. I don't know. It's grammar is very difficult, right? It's very difficult. So I mean, I said no. This, it, saying those two things doesn't contradict each other, right? This is very easy. The grammar is not difficult. It's not complicated, right? But so this is a good example actually of something very, very simple. This is very simple. But I don't I don't look at what they are replying because I'm not interested. But I'm quite certain that they would not reply, "Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I see it now." No, because they don't want to learn. They want to win. That's the problem when you're in a bubble, right? And it's like I might be blowing my own trumpet a little bit here, but I mean, I'm a novelist. I'm 52 years old. I've been writing books my whole life. Well, since I was 19. I kind of know language, right? Even the English language, I know the English language pretty well at this point. I've been speaking English since I was a child. And it's like maybe I am someone when it comes to grammar that people can learn from. I hope that's not it doesn't come across as wrong in any way that I'm saying that. But I mean, I do believe when it comes to language and grammar that I'm quite qualified because of my background. But no, people don't want to learn. People want to win. So this is what happens when you've been living in a bubble for a long time. And I think maybe the worst. I think maybe it's no. I was going to say the worst country is the USA. That's obviously not true because if you look at North Korea, I mean that's a bubble. That's a proper bubble. And they have a skewed view of the rest of the world, probably also in Russia and in many other countries. But let's just take the USA as an example here, because I see a lot of these people who, in the comments section, and they believe in strange things. And they are some of them diehard fans of Trump. And what the Trump administration is doing now in the USA is correct, it's right, it's good for the country. And they will keep saying that when the inflation goes up and up and up, when the unemployment rate goes up and up and up, cost of living goes up and up and up. They're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep saying that because they don't want to face the facts. They want to be right, or feel that they are right, and they are in their bubble, and they like to be in their bubble because nothing is challenged as long as they are in the bubble. Another good example of these bubbles is these Christian congregations, where people, again, I'm not talking, as I've said 100 times, I'm not talking about Christians in general. I'm talking about groups that claim to be Christian. If they are, that's a theological question, maybe. But they might be. They have this pastor, and they have maybe a mega church or something, and they go there and they praise God and all of that, and and it's I've been watching, I've been seeing what they're doing, and it's mass psychosis going on there. That's how you induce mass psychosis in a group of people, with the lights, with the music, with the gestures, with everyone doing the same movements and all of that. That's how you do it. Um, and they are doing it. They've been doing it for a long time. And when you tell people something when they are in such a state of consciousness, and we know this. I mean, it's being used in therapy. That it's being used in therapeutical hypnosis and so on. Psychologists use it for good. That is. When you're in such a state of consciousness, you're highly you're accepting of all kinds of bullshit, basically. And they know what they're doing, these people, and it's a bubble. And they go there every week or twice a week, and they keep doing this, and that's a scary thing to think about, because they end up believing in crazy stuff, and they end up believing that. Crazy stuff like there's this movement in the USA that Jesus will come back to the USA. Actually, not come back. Jesus was not in the USA as far as I know, but he will come to the USA, and that's the new Israel, the USA. And yeah, how convenient, because then you don't have to travel. so it's like it's crazy, it's crazy stuff, but it's a bubble. And of course we have the woke bubble, which is also like a religion. And I mean, you see these people believing in crazy stuff, like so you have of course the this gender thing. Again, as I've said many times, this is not an attempt to be mean to transgender people, but we need to be able to say that, well, there's a difference between a biological woman and a biological man. Okay. And I guess that most transgender people would agree, but there are some that don't. Those are the crazy ones, and they live in this bubble. probably, TikTok and some YouTube channels and so on. And it strengthens their bubble. And they're being told on a daily basis that their feelings are facts. So, just another example of a bubble, and they will say crazy stuff, you know. Um, Another example of a bubble that I can think of, because Instagram has been suggesting a lot of these bodybuilders and female fitness, so-called fitness influencers and all that crap. Because I do powerlifting, so they think that, Instagram being quite primitive still, they think that that's the same. And at this, I've noticed that, they are it's they're even the women are open about using steroids, and yeah, nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, what the hell? What's this shit? Excuse my language again, I'm cursing so much, but they can only say that and believe that because they are in a bubble, which is basically social media and their gym and their mates and so on. But it's crazy stuff, you know? It's crazy and so dangerous too, And they will say, no, it's not dangerous. I know what I'm doing. No, they're not. They do not know what they're doing because they're not. There's a kind of doctor specializing in hormones. Can't remember the name, but that would be a person who would know what they're doing when they're treating patients with hormones. But someone in a gym, no. I mean, this is obvious. This is obvious. So, yeah. So we have these bubbles forming and being strengthened by social media. And if you go to Google, you do a search, Google will know what kind of person you are. Google will probably have a good idea of what you're feeling, even. And they will just give you what they think that you want, not what you need. So if you need facts, Google is a horrible place to provide those facts. Um, so, this is why we are seeing an influx of hate, trolls, and all of that. I mean, I made a video the other day here on this channel. The USA going down a dark path. It seems like they are, and that's how basically the entire Europe and many other countries are viewing the USA now. But I think if you've never been outside of the USA, you don't see, or you can't see your own country from the outside, so to speak. That's going to be just provoking, you know. So I got so much hate on that video, and it's strangely satisfying to see that, because then I know that I'm doing something right, you know. But anyway, let's see here. I just want to thank you for being members to this channel. There will, of course, be hateful comments under this live stream, but we don't care about those. If I didn't say so already, Patricia, Richie Fox, Angela, and KP Heathen, good to see you all. Yeah, Orochi Fox, yeah, the ego is one hell of a thing, especially when people are intimately awestruck by power and the ultimate power of the establishment. Yes. The establishment is very well known with the effect of creating bubbles. So yes, um, let's see here. Carola, yes, having an opinion or knowing the facts are two different things. But people nowadays prefer having an opinion. Intelligent people should be able to change their opinion when they learn more. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'll just scroll down a little bit. Good to see so many people here. Let's see. Yes. We have some new members here. Stealth Mode and Leslie, welcome as members to the channel. So, what happens when the bubble bursts? Because that can happen. It can happen. Um, I I saw a video that was an interview with a former pastor, and it was very interesting. An American former pastor, and he was talking about how he left Christianity and left obviously the church, um, and that was like a personal journey for him. So I believe he's an atheist now. I can't remember the name now, but what was interesting was that he was talking about how people don't see that a church is a business, and how these pastors will get together and talk about business strategy, the budgets and all of that, and then go to their congregation and say that God wants you to give, to donate, and basically, it's like it would have been more honest, as you said, to just say, well, this church here is a business, and we need to be able to pay the cleaning lady, and to cover the costs of running this place. Um, so there was that, and as the bubble burst for this guy, he found himself um, in a very strange position in that way, that he was running his business, which was the church, but there was no faith. It was just a business, um, and uh, yeah. So it was for him, it was the dishonesty that burst the bubble, and I think it will be like that for many people. But what you need to be able to get out of the bubble is to be able to admit that you were wrong. And it becomes difficult for people. With kids, it's not so difficult, because kids learn. It's like at some point, I think you believed in Santa Claus. I did when I was a little boy, and I really wanted to believe that Santa Claus was real. And if someone here still believes that, I am sorry to have burst your bubble there. Um, but then you kind of grow up and you can see that doesn't really make sense. How would he fit in the chimney? And if you don't even have a chimney, I mean, it doesn't make sense. And so, yeah, you realize that, oh, I was wrong about I was wrong about Santa Claus. But we tend to reach a point as adults where we think that we got it all figured out, but we don't. I mean, we just don't. And there's been like this many of these social experiments where where you can see how easily manipulated we are. And one example, I'll just give you one example here, uh, of things that we get wrong all of the time. is patterns, right? And I saw an experiment. Someone was climbed up a tower and threw out some marbles or some little balls or something, and then they looked at where they ended up on the ground. And the question was, do you think this is random? Now we know it was random because you just threw them out from the tower, but if you had not known that, and if you had asked someone, like, are these balls or marbles randomly placed, or can you see a pattern here? A lot of people would say, oh, I can see a pattern. Because our brains are made that way, probably because in nature, as hunter-gatherers, we needed to always scan for patterns like tracks, like weather systems, whatever, to survive. And we are still like that. So we see patterns everywhere. And we tend to not understand how common randomness is. Now, this is actually a proven fact, and you can do this. You can do this experiment with friends or family or yourself. Or maybe not so easy to do it with yourself, because you would know that it's random because you threw out the balls, right? So this comes into play when we look at the news, when we look at social media. And I will first say that obviously there are patterns to see. There are patterns, there are things going on, things, I'm not saying that's not a thing. I'm not saying, but what I'm trying to say is that part of the human psyche is that we are always scanning for patterns, and we will see patterns where there are none. And I believe that that's maybe why we are so susceptible to what is commonly known as conspiracy theories. I think that's not a good name, because there are conspiracies, there are people who conspire, especially politicians, especially globalist politicians, I mean, it's that's what they do. Not all of the time. That they do that, okay? Conspire is a nasty name for what they're doing when they meet behind closed doors. But anyway, we see patterns where there are none. There are some ridiculous examples of this, someone looking at a parade for something like a sports event or music, maybe a music concert, or politicians or celebrities in a picture, right? And they see, oh, can you see how they are lined up there? That's a satanic symbol. Or can you see how they always do this with their hands, even though they don't always do that? Oh, that's the yeah, everything's satanic to some of these people. So, oh, it's Satan, or yeah, people look for patterns, and they use those patterns that they think they see to confirm their own feelings. So, Illuminati, yes, it's yeah. If so, it's like, if you. This is a funny one, because people don't realize that when these celebrity photographers take pictures, you know how many pictures they take? Like, it's like hundreds. And they use this fast mode. They hold in the button there, and they just take hundreds of pictures while they are moving past them on the red carpet, or So, and it's very easy to, since you freeze the image in all sorts of positions there as they are moving, it's very easy to pick one that looks very much like Illuminati or satanic or something. And they know, these people, that that's what will get traction. That's what will get clicks on that image. So they use that. Of course, they do that. The clicks gets them the money. So I mean, this is how it works. And people fall for it all of the time. So, Unending Earthling, welcome as a member. Yeah, Angela, controversy sells. So there will be people writing in the comments, "Oh, you are so naive. They are clearly satanic. Haven't you seen this or that?" It's so yeah. So I'm thinking now and then, am I in a bubble? Are there things that makes me not realize what's really going on around me? Am I seeing is my vision of the world clouded by my feelings? And the fact is that that's probably the case to some degree. And I think it's like that for all of us. But at least we can, if we are aware of that, we can, it helps to be aware of it, I think. But I try to be objective. I try to be objective. And it's easier for us Scandinavians, especially Norwegians, because people say we are cold, that we do not have feelings. We do. We're just not so, we don't show feelings so much, maybe. We're like, no, I'm not a Star Trek. Star Trek was never my thing, but I know this guy, what's his name? The one with the pointy ears. Isn't it like he has no feelings, or he's very objective all the time? We're a little bit like that. Spock, yes. We are a little bit like that, we Norwegians, until you get to know us. Or if you see a drunk Norwegian, they're like very different. A Vulcan, yes. Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, the Finnish people are even worse. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Actually, we're a little bit like, if anyone has seen the TV series Parks and Recreation, that character Ron Swanson, that's like, no, he's like a Norwegian. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Hold grudges forever. That's true for Norwegians as well. Yeah. Yeah. Northern Germany has the same reputation. Maybe it's a bit of a northern thing. Yeah. Well, my pointy ears are hidden underneath the ears, the hair. Yes. Okay. So, very funny. Yeah. Okay. Going to end the live stream with that. Hope that you are doing well. Check out the videos on the main channel, linked in the video description. Need more views on the Viking themed videos there. That would be awesome. So yeah, have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.